Today with Rue. We are making Biscoff Ice Cream Sandwiches that have taken over the internet, but with a twist. We are using coffee ice cream. No oven, no mixer, and one bite will change your life. Hey, new and returning besties. For those of you who are new, I'm Rue, your baking bestie who scours the internet and sweats over a hot stove trying countless copycat recipes so you don't have to. Biscoff, of course, is the star of the show, but we have to have vanilla bean ice cream just so we can try these sandwiches the traditional way. We will scoop out about a half a pint, or if you want to make more, you can use the whole pint. Half a pint will make anywhere between 3 to 4 ice cream sandwiches. Now, this is the twist. Coffee ice cream. I thought every recipe that I have seen uses vanilla ice cream. Well, let's use coffee. Of course, we're going to melt or just soften some of that Biscoff. We're using a 1/4 cup, pouring half into the vanilla bean and the other half into the coffee. Again, we're using half a pint. If you used a whole pint, you'll use 1/4 cup of Biscoff for each pint. We're going to go ahead and mix those up and stick those back in the freezer. So if this is a snack that you want to try not to do it when you're low on time, okay? That is not going to be your best friend. You're just going to end up with a sloppy mess and you'll be quite frustrated. Believe me, patience is a virtue when it comes to this. So give yourself a few hours, go ahead, mix up the ice cream. And that's because when the Biscoff is melted, of course, you want to bring it as close to room temperature as you possibly can, but it still has to stay in that somewhat melted state, which means it's a little warm and it's gonna make your ice cream a little loose. Go ahead and mix in some Biscoff crumbs. I went ahead and smashed some of those up and mixed them a little bit. It gives it a little texture. If you wanted it to be crunchy, then you wouldn't break it down in such a fine matter. Like I had mine crushed. You would leave it a little bit more coarse if you wanted crunchy. Or you could just buy Biscoff, the crunchy version. That would always work. But me, I like it a little bit smoother, so I went ahead and did it myself. I added this crunch to both versions, but feel free to leave it out. It's personal preference, really. So when I put it in the fridge, I left it for about 4 to 6 hours, leaning more on the 6-hour side. So while those are in the freezer, I grabbed my Biscoff cookies, lined them up there, and then I realized, I need to put some on the side, just for the top. 6 hours later, these are out of the fridge. They're still pretty soft. If you pull out the ice cream mix, you'll notice that they're pretty soft. Use an ice cream scooper. It gives you control over how much you put over each cookie. They are smaller than you would think when you start working with them. So when I saw other creators doing it, it looked really easy. And I thought, oh, great. And then I started doing it myself and I was like, hold up. This is a little bit more difficult than I thought. So I just made sure that the cookies were close together. That helped keep it a little bit more neat. And I tried to have the ice cream mixes as solidified as I possibly could, but still with the ability to scoop them up. It's like a fine line. You can't have it too frozen because then you can't scoop it well and it won't smooth over. Okay, so that was the coffee version side that we just did. And now we're moving on to the vanilla. I know they look exactly the same, and that's because of that cookie butter mix. But believe you me, they taste completely different. Completely different. I'm telling y'all, that coffee version is fire. Fire. So although I tried the vanilla version, spoiler alert, that coffee version is everything. Everything. I might try a milkshake next. Okay, so it ended up being about a good 4 scoops to 4 Biscoff cookies. Try to smooth it out as much as possible, but keep in mind that the longer you keep it out of the freezer, the more likely it is to begin melting. And again, the goal is to have it look as pretty as possible, not be a sloppy mess, but add the ingredients that you want to add as quickly as possible. So make sure you have everything out and ready to go when you're doing these ice cream recipes. Time is really of the essence. And if you start to see it melt, just throw it back in the freezer and then pull it back out. So I went ahead and topped it with the Biscoff cookies, those that I had on the side there. You saw me drizzle a little bit of cookie butter on top because, I mean, why not? And here's some more on top of the cookies. So I put some on top of the ice cream. I saw some creators add some more cookie crumbles before they put the tops on. I thought that would be overkill for me since I mixed it in, but just go bananas. I mean, go wild. I mean, you could really even add bananas. You can add anything to this and really have a good time with it. Something you can do for yourself, something you can do for the fam. Just really pretty, really cool. And back into the freezer because we need this to harden again. So 6 hours later, I took the parchment paper. Parchment paper is your best friend when it comes to these ice cream snacks, by the way. I took it right out of the freezer and I'm using my spatula that I icing with. Is that the word? Yes, I think so. And that's just because it was nice and sharp and it wasn't a knife. I just felt a little hesitant to use my big knife and this just seemed perfect. So there you go. Nice and solid. I just drizzled that on top. The cookie butter on top, and when I put it back in the freezer, it solidified along with the rest of the ice cream. And that's kind of what you want to do. Preferably, you want to put most of your toppings on that you can before you pull it from the freezer so that you don't have the ice cream sitting out and you're trying to decorate it and then it starts to melt and then it becomes a mess. You see how nice and solid and together that looks? Looks very put together and pristine. And I just changed the parchment paper because, you know, I'm a little stickler for that stuff. So I changed it so it will look even prettier for you guys. I have to make it look pretty. So I started to see that, okay, it's gonna melt soon. So let's hurry up and finish up. I had some of that Cardi B whipped cream, Whip It. That's for like the 21 and overs. And you guys don't know this, but as I'm decorating it, it's like almost midnight. My little one's in the bed sleeping and I thought, let's have some grown-up snack here. So I went ahead and just gave it a dollop of the 21 and over whipped cream. Why not? That was the mocha flavor. Drizzled it with some more cookie butter because, I mean, again, why not? And I got a bedazzle, right? Because like, all about looking pretty. So I put an edible pearl on top just to make it look fancy. And it's time to eat. I am sitting out on my terrace chilling. And of course, even though it's midnight, it's still like 80 degrees and it's starting to melt. And I ain't got time to show you guys no more. I have to eat it. And that was the coffee version because I tasted a little bit of the vanilla as I mixed it. And again, it was great. It was good. But this coffee version, everything. Run to your nearest supermarket, bodega. If you live in New York City, you know what I mean. Corner store, side market, Trader Joe's, wherever. Get yourself a pint of coffee ice cream, some Biscoff, cookies, and the cream. Enjoy. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, notifications button, and like button if you like videos like this. Thanks again for joining me, and until next time.